Okay, so we've got done with our base mesh, which actually looks pretty nice by itself. I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. Some shading group issues and stuff, but I like it. Um, let's go ahead and export this. Or you know what? We don't even have to do export. Silly me. With Mudbox, we can literally just send it to Mudbox. So I'm going to go up to File, Send to Mudbox, and I'm going to do Send to New Scene. Yes. Let's see what happens here. All right, so I got some issues. It's probably because I didn't spend a little more time on it. So what is the problem with my cylinder? UV faces crossing tile boundaries. That makes sense. I didn't even bother looking at the UV mesh. And it doesn't have one. So my UV mesh is terrible, and um, there are some issues with the face. So I'm going to say go ahead and let's see. I'm gonna do a keep all. That's what we got here. Oh, okay. Oops. Let's go back. Let's go ahead and do a new scene. I don't want all that stuff. No wonder I had all those errors. Um, let's go ahead and do this. Select my guy here. Go ahead and export. Let's see. All right, so let's do this. Let's go ahead and save this out with all of my stuff in it. Let's go ahead and let's see, on hide all, on freeze all, hide selection. So I want to hide that object, and I'm just going to delete everything else in my scene. Let's just make it easy. Grab it all. Okay. Delete. Unhide all. There we go. We can always import that character back in, or even merge our max files or something if we need to. For this, let's see if it gives any issues without collapsing down the symmetry modifier. I could just convert this back to an edit poly and it would collapse it. But let's just go ahead and send it over to Mudbox. New scene. And we'll do keep all, and it looks okay. So we got it. Now obviously it's got some issues. It doesn't like the symmetry modifier, and it doesn't like some of the other angles and stuff. So let's go ahead and see what we can do here. We could use our topology tools, or we could just leave it maybe. Let's do here. I'm gonna do. Let's do make symmetrical in here and see what we get. Okay, looks like it gave me a weird lip, but it fixed a lot of my issues. So, kind of odd. It must be off-centered ever so slightly over in max. That's okay though. You know what? We can work with what we got. Let's just work inside a ZBrush here, because that's the whole point. And we know now that this mesh is perfectly symmetrical, and we can always kind of fix it and do different things later over there. So the first thing I'm gonna do, if I'm wanting to really kind of play around with this and fix it, let's see, I don't like the collar right here. I'm gonna go ahead and just grab this and pull that down a little. I feel like my zoom is a little bit much. So I have to play around with my scaling a bit. But I'm gonna move that down. Again, I've got some odd stuff happening, but I don't like the look. And this one I'm gonna kind of bring up to try to make it a little more round. Try smoothing it and seeing. I don't love that so much either. Control Z, my most used tool. All right, we'll try that. Okay, again, I just pulled that down a bit because of the weird kind of pinch, and there's one here, but let's just play with it and see what we get. So the big thing is we need to add some subdivision levels to this. It looks like getting some odd artifacting again here in the middle. I'm just going to use the smooth tool and smooth it out. because I don't want that. You can see I'm getting some tearing in the image too. I think that's probably just, you know, maybe it's because we're doing some video recording while I'm working on this. Ooh, I don't love that it's not centered in ZBrush. I'm sorry, Mudbox. Let's do this. Okay, let's go ahead and bring this guy back in. So the good news about doing all this stuff live is you're getting to see me troubleshoot. The negative side is, instead of it being like a cooking show where everything is perfect, we're getting to see all the funkiness. So let's go ahead and do this. First things first, let's go ahead and convert our object back to an edit poly. So that way this thing doesn't have subdivision levels and gets that weird like line down the middle. Second, we could even do some subdivision inside of 3ds Max that might help. I'm seeing some issues with this. So let's see what's going on. First thing, let me go ahead and maybe I'm going to, let's change our pivot point. So my pivot point needs to be in the center of my object, and it needs to probably be aligned to world, which looks like it is already. Okay, good. Let's do that. Then let's go ahead and I'm going to change my transformation settings to 0, 0, 0. You can see that moved over, wasn't in the middle, and close that down. So while this seems like a lot of steps, it's going to, I think, make our life easier over in Mudbox, and that's what I want. I'm also going to make it bigger because the zoom tool in Mudbox is very strange. Now that I've made it bigger though, I am going to need to go ahead and reset my X form so that way this thing is completely ready to go. Again, this, converting it to the model, scaling it to a bigger size, making sure my pivot point is directly in the middle and lined up. I think this should fix a lot of those weird issues that we're having over Mudbox. I said even in the first video I did, Mudbox can be picky. Let's go ahead and reset this guy, resetting our X form, and then I'm going to go ahead and convert this one final time over to, let's say, edit poly. Now we could add a turbo smooth modifier that would remove all the triangulation in this mesh. It would probably make Mudbox super happy. On top of that, the UVW map is messed up and Mudbox doesn't like that. Again, it's a little picky, but let's go ahead and see where we are here. I think maybe this is going to probably fix a lot of the issues we were having. It may not fix them all. We're definitely going to get another issue with the UVW map because they didn't fix it. There it is. And let's just keep it all and see where we are. Again, I'm still getting some funky double vertexes. I'm guessing because the symmetry modifier was not a weld at something right, which is, I didn't expect it to do that. Let's go ahead and we could do make symmetrical. We tried that trick before. So that seemed to help. Notice it didn't jump or do anything weird. So I think that just welded all the vertexes down the middle and kind of made it a little bit better. It's bigger now, so my zoom in and out is going to work a little bit better. I think we're working with too small of a model. And I put it right in the middle, so rotating around it works tons better. Again, these little weird, funky things, you know, we might have to kind of play around with so we can make sure this is working as good as we can. Now, if I add some new subdivision levels, oh, that looks so much more what I expected. Again, maybe we'll add another one, and look, we have a nice, smooth, pretty decent shaped mesh that we can really start playing in. So now, finally, only, what, almost 10 minutes later, can we start actually working on this guy. I'm going to go ahead and turn on mirror along the x-axis because I'm going to be working in both, and we're going to start working and creating a lot of those details. So the first thing is I'm going to go and work on my shape. Ooh, look at that. So see that weird chunkiness? Even though we have subdivided this twice, I'm still getting weird, odd artifacts because this model was so low resolution. Like, I'm probably going to need to up the number of subdivision levels quite a bit. I will say if we start getting too far from the base mesh too, we might need to look at retopologizing our mesh and create a brand new one. Let's just go ahead and add some new subdivision levels, and let's see what we're at there. Again, that's looking a little better. You can see it's still kind of looking a little chunky, a little bit weird. we can work with that a little bit. I think it's kind of getting close. Yeah, I'm getting a little bit of the line I want out of it. We could smooth it out. Um, I don't love it, right? I don't love kind of the lines we're getting. Let's go ahead and add another subdivision level. That's looking a little better. Yeah, I can work with that. And so we're kind of creating it. So I'm just kind of creating kind of the edge for the armor here. And you can see, even though we're 4 subdivision levels up, it's still looking a little bit, I don't know, low res. So again, we might need to play with this a lot more to get the shape we want. So again, I'm thinking that maybe we might have to retopologize this shape because the geometry itself might be what's kind of hindering the line I want. Like, again, I could just keep adding subdivision levels, but at some point I probably need to be like, hey, is it working? I don't know. That doesn't look bad, really. Let's go ahead and add another subdivision level. Again, we can turn on or off our wireframe. I wanted to see if our wireframe was all odd, but it doesn't look too bad, honestly. Okay, so now I just got to kind of figure out what do I want to use? What tools? So one of my favorites is definitely the grab tool. So we'll make our brush bigger. I find this tool to be really nice for kind of getting my forms. It looks a little bit weird. That's okay. We'll go back and smooth it out. But I want a definitive edge. I want you to be able to see the metal kind of bent along there. If I need to, again, this might be, no, that looks okay actually. So kind of playing around there until I get that kind of edge again. It's supposed to be crafted with metal, so I want that sort of look to it. I don't need to give my armor piece abs. That's weird. Clearly I need a bigger brush. So, okay, again, what we're going to do is we're going to be creating kind of all the base forms first, and then we'll go back and kind of add in those details. The detail's the fun part, but before we get to details, we do kind of need, again, our model to be the shape we want. All right, that's looking okay. I don't need to be super curved over here. Flatten that out, smooth this. Again, I want that edge to show up. All right, that's looking pretty good. Okay, now it's a matter of we're gonna have to start referencing our concept piece, right? So check out my downloads. Take a look at this guy. Okay, and so we can sort of see we got a lot of fun and fine detail work here that we're gonna have to use some of these tools, and we're definitely gonna have to add some more subdivision levels to get those kind of details.